Hello gang, nice to see you again. It's been a while since I posted another video. Well, one related to the event Iceberg. Fortunately, I bring you the sequel to it with all its miraculous and fantastic editing. That cost me sleepless nights. I had an issue with my laptop, which is what I initially used to edit part 1 with. It overheated a lot, it burnt my fingertips using it, the fan wasn't working, a whole lot of problems, but problems no more. Without further ado, and making this intro too long, let's kerplunk right into part 2 of the Roblox events Iceberg. Continuing where we left off, it was the Nar Sweet Rush event, so the next event following that is Playprince World. Reminder that the bar you see is a show where it is on the timeline, still 2023, but we are halfway through. So, cool beans. Playprince World. This is a Roblox event sponsored by a British shoe company called Clark's, which I've never heard of until now. The prizes were the Shoulder Maple Buddy, a shrunk down version of one of the game characters, and the Evil Queen Lena crown, which kind of reminds me of the Dark Avenger, the hat for that package. Just very similar. The game associated with the event was an experience called Playprince World, which was essentially the lamest simulator of sticker collecting I've ever seen. Players were tasked with repetitive gameplay loops of collecting scrolls, stickers, and purple floating gems, doing this in order to fulfill completion quotas to access different maps. The thing is, this game required you to consistently play not just the new maps to move on, but replay the old maps as well. In every map, you got a new ability, totaling to 4, which allowed access to new areas in prior maps. It's very reminiscent of old games, such as Spyro, specifically Spyro the Dragon on GameCube. You could learn new breaths to access different quests of old maps. Unfortunately, this game is a shoe sponsor and not an engaging experience. The grindiness of this game was made very clear the moment I figured out that the random purple floating gems were part of the total collectibles for a map, instead of some sort of currency or something you could use to get a free UGC. The developers were stretching playtime intentionally to boost engagement. All for a knockoff of Peter Pan. Oh, and let's not forget the wizard rapper of the East Coast,
Let me show you how to scratch it.
who didn't mind breaking the immersion of the story to showcase the merch store within the cave. This is after going into a whole speech about the corruption plaguing the land and the princes, but come on, think about the merchandise, let's take a look at the merchandise before you go out there and you save the world. I quit before finishing, so no verification on my end if the prizes are still obtainable. I can say with confidence that I still got the Maple Buddy shoulder pal, even though it says in the wiki that you're supposed to get it when you reach the final world. So, if this really matters to you, I think some of the other prizes are still obtainable, but I have no idea the extent of how much of them are actually working properly. Singapore Wonderland. An event sponsored by an official tourist guide by the Singapore Tourism Board. Visit Singapore. Yes, that's a name, very clever. The game's environment, stated by the description, was inspired by Singapore. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. It's actually not too different from the Playprint event, except you do kart racing and other minigames. There's also a tiny amount of history regarding the culture of Singapore, at least going off the badges. The prizes were 5 regular accessories and 9 limited prizes, totaling to 14 prizes. The regular prizes ended in June, and limited prizes were scattered between October to February. The game was last updated in April, so there is a small chance it might see a comeback at a later date. But if I were you, I wouldn't hold my breath. Gems Company. An event sponsored by the Gems Company, which is a Japanese virtual idol group produced by Square Enix. If that name sounds familiar, they are the same people who made Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Tomb Raider, etc. So for this event, you played Escape Running Head. I don't know why they chose this game for their collab or how it synergies with virtual idols, but I guess it worked for them, so nice. For the event, they had a special stage where the heads were the idols, and you had to ultimately get to the center of the map to collect the Gems Company hoodie, which was the prize for this event. It's an alright hoodie, but it's layered clothing, so if it works for you, kudos. As the event only lasts 20 days, and was over a year ago by the posting of this video, it is no longer obtainable. So, you snooze, you lose. NHL Blast. NHL, or National Hockey League, is the North American Ice Hockey League, similar to MLB and NFL. NHL was the direct sponsor for this event. Players could engage in all things hockey with a general dynamic twist. You could do obbies, play against other players in a funnish hockey game, kind of actually similar to tag, and take screenshots of your avatar wearing hockey gear. The event prizes had 6 regular accessories, all of which, having not been very grindy to obtain, all regular accessory prizes are no longer free. Now you can obtain them only by buying them in-game or on the marketplace. The limited prizes, from which I've seen total 4, are still obtainable as they haven't run out of stock yet. 2 of them are new additions, at least from what I'm seeing on the group wall and in-game. The game was pretty fun and definitely showed some effort was put into it. It is receiving updates a year later, which is actually impressive. Pancake Empire Tower Tycoon. A pretty dapper event that does the tycoon genre proud. Pancake Empire Tower Tycoon is very literal in its name. You play a tycoon where you develop your pancake empire by increasing your pancake tower. You collect little orbs to build up muns and cash it out to buy more pancakes. You can recycle your pancakes to make better and unique pancakes to dispense more rich orbs, like a quality over quantity type of thing. They weren't lacking on the prizes on this event either. All pancake breakfast-ish themed, totaling to 5 regular accessories and 11 limiteds. The regular accessory prizes are no longer obtainable, or at least not the ones I have done the badges for. As for the limiteds, there are only 4 with available stock. Much grindier than the regular accessory prices, but if they appeal to you, by all means. Joan Listening Party. Something about listening parties has the jinx of always being short and terrible events. I don't know why, but it's just how it is. The Joan Listening Party was a sponsorship for the American musician duo, Joan, the members being Alan Benjamin Thomas and Stephen Rutherford? Yeah. Alright. Is their music good? You tell me through my third-party event software that bypasses copyright infringement while giving you quality. Yes, I'd even say the AI made improvements to the original. Anyhow, the 2 games you had to play were Mega Noob Simulator and Row Beats. There was only one single prize, a Joan t-shirt, and that was obtained by listening to the Joan song Superglue at the Joan stage and playing a song by Joan and Row Beats. The event was, as you can imagine, very short, lasting only 3 days in total. So this was really a blink and you'll miss it situation. Sorry to drop by, but I just gotta let you guys know, since 2023 and 2022 are so long, I decided that for events that are short or barely unique at all, I'm just gonna rush through them. This way we can hopefully be halfway through 2022 by the end of this video. Plus, I'm sure it's probably not super engaging for you guys to have to sit through sponsored events from all these unheard of companies advertising their products and boring gameplay. We will save the longer in-depth analysis for events that actually deserve it. Thanks, gang, and we are crashing back into the video. No, literally, we are crashing back into the video. iHeartland, Radio Star Simulator. Now here's something interesting. This might be the first game on the Iceberg that has 3 sponsorships behind it. iHeartMedia being the first, State Farm being the second, and NYX Professional Makeup being the third. It's kind of odd lineup, but okay. The game had nothing too different from what you've seen before. Visit different areas related to the sponsors and participate in their respective minigames. The prizes were this terrifying iHeartland pet abomination and the Flow Retta sunglasses. The glasses were discontinued on November 23rd, 2023. But I don't know if the radio pet is still obtainable. Do you really want it? Also, this game released on my birthday. Vita Coco, the Coconut Grove. This is an event sponsored by Vita Coco, if the title did not clue you in. It is a brand that has created delicious, savory, perfect beverages. I had a small issue of getting addicted to them a while back, and I can proudly say I am no longer recovering from that addiction. The event game had you play minigames and plant coconut trees. The prices were 5 regular accessories and 2 limiteds. All of the prizes having the wonderful Vita Coco sponsor on it somewhere. Um, I personally like the capybara pet because it looks really cool, and I really like Vita Coco, and I like the capybara, and I like the Vita Coco, and I like capybara, and I like the Vita Coco. Here's another cool thing about this game that I actually have never seen before. So this game no longer offers free UGC, free accessories at all. All right. But instead of simply leaving it alone, the developers took the initiative to actually let players who are still in the games getting badges know you cannot obtain it, but we congratulate you on your achievement in getting this badge. So the developers let you know that if you're here for the prizes, you're wasting your time. But they still appreciate what you've done, and they appreciate your achievement of getting the badge in game. So that's really nice. Kudos to the developers for that. Metallica Listening Party. I might have to retract my statement from prior that all listening parties are simply boring and miserable. Then again, Metallica might be the exception. For this listening party, it had 5 popular games involved. Deep Woken, Frontlines, Piggy, Survive the Killer, and Pyrophobia, each having their own baller Metallica items, without any of them needing a massive grind to complete. Deep Woken had you score 100 while standing in the pit in the 72 Seasons area for a pendant. Frontlines only required you to play 1 match to completion to get the t-shirt. Piggy just required you to escape the metallic event map, which is really sick. You got a vest for doing that, by the way. Survive the Killer required finding a metallic album that you would need to bring to the Metallica stage in the lobby without dying, and that's how you got the logo shades. By the way, every event I've seen so far of Survive the Killer has literally been random item spawns in the game, grab the item, don't die. That's it. They aren't very original with their participation in events. Finally, a Pyrophobia had you find the hidden Metallica room in the level 0 lobby map to get the baseball cap. Now, Deep Woken is a paid access game, but I believe for the event they temporarily were free, at least until it was completed. This event would have given me hope for better watch parties, but since this is further in 2023 and we know what came after, well, unfortunately this event could not be an example to future watch parties, which would have made going through and reading about them much more bearable if they had even a hint of the same passion that they did for the Metallica listening party. Boy with Uke Experience. This is a concert event featuring someone called Boy with a Uke, a musician and internet personality. During the concert, he performed a total of 3 songs: Toxic, Out of Reach, and IDJAF. You already know what that means. Interesting choice in names for all of them, I guess. This concert was hosted in Solar Punk Simulator, which is a game I've never heard of at all. I'm sure it must be my imagination, and surely this random game has some sort of player base. It's dead. It's dead. Anyway, there was one prize, the Boy with a Uke head, which required players to enter the spaceship and collect all the golden ukuleles spawned throughout the concert. There were 3 buyable accessories, all off sale now. Beyond Land. Should we just start counting how many events are on this iceberg that use the word land at the end? I feel we are close to hitting double digits at this rate. Anyway, Beyond Land is a Roblox licensed experience sponsored by Falcons Beyond. Interesting thing was that this game had an egg hunt in April 2023, which at the time was something that hadn't been done since 2021's Metaverse Champions. Besides that, this game's entire map was based on Kathmandu Park and borrows its franchise characters. The minigames you could play were the Volcano Death Run Race, the Obby Treehouse Challenge, and the Space Zombie Survival Chase. There were 5 prizes you could get between April 5th through June 30th. All now are on sale as regular accessories. There were 5 limited prizes, one of them still being obtainable with a decent remaining stock. So if this Yoda-looking head is good enough for you, there should be somewhere around 2,000 remaining copies to nab. Sunsilk Hair Care Lab Tycoon. Sunsilk Hair Care Lab Tycoon, long word by the way, is an event sponsored by Sunsilk, a British hair care brand owned by Unilever, or however you say that. This game is a tycoon, so use your imagination as to what you would do upon loading in. If you can't imagine that, well, let me make it easy. You could own your own hair care facility, hire workers, upgrade that hair care facility, and make cash on the side. The game has 3 prizes. I think all of them can still be earned. I was able to get some headphones upon 2 minutes of being in game. And last I left off, considering this game still has an active player base, I can only assume most of them know about being able to earn these accessories still. I just gotta say though that the headphones aren't too bad if you look at them from the right angle. I might have to make my own version of headphones later, so keep an eye out for that. Maybe a giveaway. Crystal Quest. Crystal Quest, currently dubbed as Momo Quest, was a Roblox event sponsored by I'm I'm not even gonna try and say that. A California virtual reality studio. The event was apparently a beta for what the game eventually became, that being Momo Quest, which came on April 23rd, 2024. This game is effectively dead for what I can assume is related to the free limited stock cost change. They didn't even break 1 million visits by the making of this video, which is unfortunate. Trying out the game, it does offer unique gameplay. What you do is wander around the map, challenging an assortment of creatures to a rhythm dance battle. You move your mouse around and hit multicolored orbs to eventually defeat or tame the vibrant creatures. Besides that, this game isn't any different from any other run-of-the-mill, level up, grind rare pets, rebirth, rinse and repeat. Still, it has a nice aesthetic. Moving on to the prizes, none are obtainable anymore. There was only one regular prize, which was the Wisdom Shroom Cap. It required players to complete the beta map between March 27th and April 5th, which also required you to rebirth at least once. The limited prizes were pretty good. They were a bit on the small side regarding the stock. There was regular on-sale accessories, but considering how the floor price has been shifting as of late, I doubt many people are interested in getting these. No offense. Well, maybe the eyeball cap. I really like the eyeball. Solar Punk Simulator. This event was sponsored by... Okay. Since the last video, it's been a little exhausting starting these event entries off with the sponsorship. It's repetitive. It's not going to relent because most of the events in 2023 and 2022 were sponsorships. Looking forward to when this won't be the norm. Anyway, this event was sponsored by Comic Relief, a British charity founded in 1985 by Richard Curtis and Lenny Henry. Apparently Jack Black was in this event as a tutorial NPC. Interesting. So the gameplay is... Oh, hold on a second. Wait, I've seen this before. Yep. So, this game was mentioned earlier if you didn't notice. Yeah. If you remember, there's an event for Boy with a Uke, and the concert was hosted in this game. So, like I mentioned earlier, dead game. Anyway, focusing on this specific event, when the game launched, there was a competition between Creecraft, Cinderbell, and Digito Plays This. This was a voting competition, so I guess not quite like RB Battle. You could join one of the 3 for 5,000 in-game coins or some small amount of Bobucks. The winner and those on their team got a unique accessory. Since Digito won, him and anyone who voted for him got a 24k Digito shoulder buddy. Besides the unique prize, the other available prizes were what you see. One of them looks oddly similar to the Ruby Horde chest. Maybe it's inspired. Anyway, 2 of the prizes were discontinued in April of last year, and I'm assuming the 3rd was as well. The game had 3 on-sale accessories, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got on this. Fashion Closet. Another fashion event, this time sponsored by Carly Kloss, who's an American fashion model. Honestly, I wish I knew how these sponsors stumbled upon Roblox and were convinced to participate. I mean, they just come from all over the place, you know? Back on topic, this is a fashion event, and if you know the trend of fashion events, you go through all of their merchandise. You play dress up, you do makeup, you edit your outfit to be exactly what you want. It's the whole bells and whistles. There are 5 items that the wiki shows, but I actually took a look into the game myself and found there is currently an available Carly Kloss cowboy hat. 4K available stock by the making of the video, but knowing how long this video has been postponed, who knows how much is left. There are also some other accessories that are buyable in-game as well. This game seems to still be updated, and I'd say it has a rather nice UI design. Other than that, the game doesn't have a super active following. NASCAR Speed Hub. I remember when I was a kid, every now and then I would come across my dad watching NASCAR on our living room TV. We didn't have a lot, but it was an interesting memory. He would be hootering and hollering, which is a nice way of saying screaming and yelling, as he saw people pass some of the drivers he liked. And his favorites were Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr. He might have liked some other ones, but I'm not too familiar with their names. back on topic, if it wasn't obvious enough, this was an event sponsored around NASCAR to celebrate their 75th anniversary. Now, I did not realize that NASCAR was around for that long. I mean, I assumed 40, 50 years, but 75? God. Anyway, this event had 3 experiences, one of them being the central hub for the prizes. It also did a sponsored collaboration with Jailbreak where you had access to certain race cars for a period of time. There were 5 regular prizes, all of which no longer being obtainable, and 4 UGC competition prizes. Now, these UGC prizes were not limited. They were just regular accessories that were timed if you fulfilled the challenge for them within their respective deadlines. There are 7 regular accessories, all NASCAR themed, that should still be on sale. The main experience for this event allowed you to customize the cars, changing their looks and allowing you to upgrade them to help meet your times. As someone who didn't participate in this event, I kinda wish I could have, when it was giving prizes, of course. Twice Square. Yes, this is where I go to get emotes that I use for my profile and rotate through every week. Yes, spoilers, this experience no longer gives any prizes, but if you want paid clothes or emotes, specifically the emotes, this is the place to go. Twice Square was sponsored by the South Korean girl group, Twice. This experience had the following as obtainable prizes until some undisclosed time in 2023. The wiki page for this isn't updated, so I will go ahead and showcase some of what I see at the moment. So, as I mentioned, regular accessories, layered clothing, and, thankfully, still on sale emotes. So there's quite a lot of emotes, I think like more than 8, and they are all very nice and well done, but they are a little pricey, so take your pick. If these emotes interest you, swing by. As for the rest of the experience, there really isn't anything of significance to my knowledge. Mostly just seems to be a buy hub in the end of the day, at least to me. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Okay, I can already tell we are on a good track to be getting more interesting events now. I believe this is the first movie-sponsored event we've come across thus far. Yes, we do get more in 2024, but I'm speaking for 2023. As far as I can remember, this is the first movie event that we have come across on the Iceberg. So this movie's event game was none other than Strongman Simulator. What a coincidence. During this event, you played in a unique Shazam-themed area where you built up your lightning power, so you could obtain 5 prizes for completing different tasks in-game. And they were pretty diverse. I don't know if this was a fun event, but if it's anything like the movie in terms of reception, you probably are glad to have missed it. Moto Island Official Valentino Rossi Experience. What a mouthful. Oh god. By the way, if you notice I'm saying the titles of each event in this video, I didn't do it in the last video because a friend suggested against it, but I'm considering a lot of you are probably playing or doing something on the side while listening, maybe occasionally watching. So, if you're listening, this is kind of to help you out so you can actually know what I'm talking about when I'm describing an event. If you guys would want me to change it or your thoughts on it, please let me know in the comments. It'll help me improve this going forward. Anyway, back to the actual event. This long-named event was sponsored by Valentino Rossi and his racing team VR46. If you don't know who they are, this is Valentino, and his profession was motorcycle road racer. I've read that he's considered one of the greatest ever motorcycle racers to date, at least based on what I'm reading off the wiki. The game you played was naturally a motorcycle racing experience with the same name as the event. There were 3 prizes and quite a lot of paid accessories. And if you're interested, I don't know if you can still get the prizes, but please let me know in the comments if the Koopa Troopa backpack is still available. American Girl World. An event sponsored by American Girl, which is an American toy line. Duh. You played minigames and decorated your own dollhouse. You could also explore their merchandise store to buy a wide variety of stuff, I guess. I mean, the crown's kinda cool, but once again seems more like a sponsored store rather than a fun event. There were 3 prizes, but 4 if you count the accidental duplicate copy of one of the other prizes, which was the AG hat. I'm not sure if the accessories are still live, but it has consistent players going off the recently earned badges, so maybe there is something to gain from this game. For any events I can't verify, if you know they still offer prizes, please say so in the comments, so if anyone's interested, they can get their hands on it. Thank you. Thanks. PacSun Los Angeles Tycoon. Another sponsored event under an American clothing brand. PacSun, named after the brand mentioned prior, Los Angeles Tycoon had players build their own versions of downtown regions of Los Angeles. I guess. It's a tycoon, so recognize what it entails. There were small tasks that could be done, such as collecting pieces of a treasure map, autographs from celebrities, coins from obbies. You're really just going around collecting a lot of stuff. This game also really wants players, considering the promo codes are stacked in the description. There were 5 prizes with very long descriptions on how to obtain them, with 4 of them being layered clothing. There were also 3 limited prizes with 15k stock each, and of course, the bio accessories that outnumber everything else offered in this event. I'm sure you're probably wondering how this game is performing. Not good. If you were thinking this before I even mentioned it, kudos. Saweetie Super Bowl 57 concert. Time to talk about a football concert. This should be the second football event we've encountered so far. This event was sponsored by the NFL to celebrate the 57th Super Bowl. Also, small history lesson, the way the Super Bowl got its name was back in the year 1969 after the 1966 merger agreement between the NFL and the AFL. AFL stands for American Football League. These two organizations united to have their best teams compete against one another in a championship. The original name for the Super Bowl was AFL NFL World Championship Game. And yeah, I'm also thinking, good luck getting that on merchandise, you know? And that name stuck on till 1970. You see, the at the time owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, Lamar Hunt, had proposed the term Super Bowl. Now, I've read some sources say the word bowl was being thrown around because of the size of the stadiums. Which, I mean, I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, when you look at it, they kind of do look like bowls. Some other sources claim that Lamar Hunt attributed the idea from watching his son play with a Super Bowl toy. Lamar was planning to workshop the name Super Bowl and make it better, but here we are. The word got out, it started trending in general conversation, and in 1977, when they started calling the event the Super Bowl, it just stuck on since then. 1970 is when they started calling the grand event Super Bowl. Sorry for spieling for too long on the history, I just thought it was interesting for anyone who's not really a football fan. It's always good to learn a little bit of fun little details, you know? You never know when you can flex it. Back to the topic of the event, it featured the American rapper, Saweetie, and the songs used were Tap In, Boss Chick, money signs are very important in this, and Icy Girl. There were 3 experiences involved, Rhythm City Roleplay and Concert Dressing Room being the main ones, and Super NFL Tycoon being sponsored. The concert took place in the Concert Dressing Room game where you could earn 2 prizes. The other 3 were earned in Rhythm City Roleplay. Besides that, a familiar theme returns with regular on-sale accessories you could buy. Some of this does look kinda cool, so I won't gripe on it too much. Watching some scenes of the concert, it doesn't look half bad. And it's always kind of cool to see the behind the scenes of the mocap for Saweetie. She actually did her own dances, by the way. She seemed to actually have enjoyed the experience too, which was a little wholesome. Dave & Buster's World. A restaurant-sponsored event by none other than Dave & Buster's. A restaurant I've never had. You know the drill already with events like these. Sponsored game with World or Wonderland at the end, where you play a variety of minigames. Then you get sponsored prizes that don't really make up for the effort put into getting them. So that matches pretty well with this event, actually. You had 4 prizes, no limited prizes, and several purchase-only accessories. The cool thing is that some of these accessories kind of do look like something we would have gotten from 2010 through 2013 Roblox, but it's just a little cool detail I noticed. Something of note was that Creekcraft apparently has some Easter eggs of himself in this event. If you use the code !Creekcraft!, you would get an in-game hat based off Creek's beanie. This trivia section of this wiki says it was meant to be given as a free accessory, but I guess that fell through. I could be wrong though, so if you know, correct me. Also, if you spam the arcade machines, you could apparently be teleported to a secret area that featured the Bald Creek meme. One day I'm going to learn the history of this. One day. Super NFL Tycoon. Thought we were done with football?
Fool! You don't know
what NFL or means, enlarged to a massive audience in Roblox. If you'll notice, this was a sponsored event for the Super Bowl concert. This being a tycoon means you build up your football stadium. You can roleplay with said stadium and team you created and earn NFL-sponsored accessories. There were 5 prizes in total. I really like the football suit. There was also the NFL draft cap, which is pretty cool looking. No paid for accessories, which is a positive in my eyes, since we've been on a pretty long spree of that being the norm so far. But there has to be a negative, and in this case, the main criticism this game received was the grinding required to get these prizes. That and the TurboTax refund gameplay mechanic. Odd sentence. being a bizarre thing to include in a game played mostly by a demographic of children. Yes, children with no knowledge of the nightmare of paying taxes nor the fear of the IRS. I mean, it'll come for them one day, but not today. Looptopia. Another sponsored Roblox event, but by the Swedish clothing company H&M. In this event, you stylize your avatar with clothes, traded clothes, played with clothes, recycled old clothes, explore clothes, themed clothes, became clothes. This was pretty much just H&M saying, buy our clothes. There were 5 prizes, all of them are now discontinued. The only thing I can say that surprised me was that H&M did not have any buyable accessories for their event. You know, you'd think with our recent trend that maybe it would have started with them or something. They are arguably the most appropriate sponsor to have clothes or a store selling merchandise so far, and yet they didn't. NCT 127 Concert Experience. A concert done by a South Korean boy band called NCT 127. They look like this. The event had 6 experiences. I don't recognize any of them. So 4 prizes, 2 of which being emotes that became buyable at some point for Bobucks. There's also our favorite reoccurring trend, I say ironically of course, of numerous on-sale accessories themed around the sponsor. Even if you like these, remember that the price floor update has altered their prices drastically. So consider if it's really worth the hassle to get some tassels. That's a good pun, I think. Puma Futureland. An event sponsored by the German company Puma. I didn't know Puma was a German company, so this is news to me. I've actually got 2 pairs of their shoes in my room right now. Anyhow, this is pretty much a soccer game. There were 5 prizes that I don't believe are obtainable. At least not the one I completed, which was the Obby prize. AO Adventure. This event was sponsored by the Australian Open and the airline Emirates. I think I said that right. All to promote the 2023 Australian Open, which is a tennis tournament of sorts. Probably something akin to the Super Bowl, but for the Australians. Same formula of handful of minigames, but with tennis at the forefront for the main gameplay. There were 5 prizes you could get from playing tennis and the minigames. The crazy ball head is straight up something you'd see in the Amazing World of Gumball. I don't know why, but it just fits in that aesthetic for that series. Like a throwaway character for like 1 or 2 scenes max. Not really relevant, just a funny thought. Winter Roblox Week 2023. What?
An event with a Roblox name? What is this heresy? This is blasphemy? We must find and nail he or she who dares incorporate the company's name into an event. There will be a reckoning.
Wait, hold on. This was an in-person event unique to Roblox employees only. If you remember from the first Iceberg vid, I mentioned this was one of the categories of events. So, as you can see by the description regarding Roblox Week, just a general hype train to get everyone working in the company for their approach on the year. In this case, it being 2023. Now, what I gathered from this week in particular is just a couple different departments of Roblox were able to interact with one another, a mingle session among different groups for 3 days. There was also a speaking session with Roblox executives, I guess. Here's a quick zoom through the article, so pause if you really want to read through it all. You can also just look up Roblox Winter Week 2023 to get the blog post, so. Okay, guys. This is great. We are done with 2023. It's finally over. I have great news to bring to you. You see, some kind and considerate soul on the Roblox Wiki decided to adjust the Roblox Events tab. They have stripped it of most sponsored games. Now, the info tabs on these are still available if you look up the event name and with wiki at the end. You can still find the original pages for the ones that I have covered, but they won't show up in this little doohickey right down here. As you see, it's been stripped of most of them and considerably smaller. Actually, I think it is the smallest event year on the Iceberg now. 2022 has shriveled into a small, pathetic corpse of its former self, but conveniently, corpses are easier to pick up. Anyway, I should go ahead and get started on editing the next video. Surprise interruption. Sorry, I apparently forgot to actually read the rest of my script, and the video was not completely finished with its outro. As you can tell, I'm using a new mic. My voice should be coming out completely differently, and that is pretty much what I'm going to sound like for every future video that comes out. So without further ado, Thank you for watching. I genuinely appreciate the amount of support I have gotten from my last video, and I look forward to the support I get from this one. Until the next video, ciao!